And we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 80 of the Tiki Taka Podcast. I'm your host, Peter, and today I'm joined by Cynthia,
Hi.
Bruno,
Hello, hello.
Steph that's going to be here, but he's not here yet because he's late, and special guest Flip making a second appearance.
Hello.
All right. Said take a sip of water there. Sorry about that. All right, so we got a lot to get to. Let's just give you off a little bit of the Taça news before we start. So, Caldas went through to the next round of the Taça Portugal. They beat, was it Farense, I believe, 3-2, if I'm not mistaken. Aves.
A shout out to my friend Antonio Livramento with a double in that game.
A shout out to Steph's.
Do you actually know him, or you just?
Yeah, I know.
No, I know him. I was trying to bring him here to the United States a couple of years ago.
Oh my lord!
But he was, it just didn't work out. The deals didn't work out. But he was a guy that I was trying to get over to the U.S.
All right, so now you know what you got to do. You got to bring him on the podcast.
I'm sorry?
You got to bring him on the
get
podcast.
Him on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'd be a little hard to get a hold of because he's not a big public eye guy.
He's another Bruno.
He's way more reserved than I am.
I love that you call yourself reserved. That's fantastic.
Off the air, I'm way more reserved than I am on the air.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is my on-air personality.
Oh, here we go with the masks.
That's awesome.
All right. So, as I was saying, Aves beat Rio Ave in penalties. That game was a thriller, 4-4, where Rio Ave started out winning 3-1, and in 2 minutes, in the 89th minute and the 91st minute, Aves tied the game. Then they actually went ahead in overtime and scored first, but then Gelson Dalla, warmed in by Sporting, got the equalizer, and then Rio Ave ended up losing in the penalty shootout. And as we're speaking right now, Cabo da Piedade is losing 2-1 to Sporting with 91 minutes played. So there you go. I'll also let you know once the game's over. All right, so let's get on with the show then, and let's start by talking, obviously the best team in Portugal, Benfica, of course. Benfica played Moreirense, and they won 2-0. I'll give you the lineup real quick. So it was Bruno Varela in goal, André Almeida, Ruben Dias, Jardel, and Alex Grimaldo. Samaris coming in for Feza, who was suspended for the game, Pizzi and Krovinovic, and the front three of Servi, Jonas, and Salvio. I'm going to let the guests go first. And Felipe, what did you think about this performance by Benfica?
I think I missed the first 15 minutes. I did catch up to it later because I'm not used to early kickoffs. We always play so late. But after watching that and watching the game itself, I think we played well. I mean, the players carried on most of the attitude from the derby, which I thought was good. Like, they clearly wanted to take initiative, go forward. But again, the same problem, we missed too many goals. Luckily, we got 2. We should have got a lot more. We got way too many chances that we need to start taking because one game will end up hurting us a lot. But overall, I think we played well. I like when Keaton Parks came on. I think the midfield worked pretty well, considering Keaton is not exactly a Feza type of guy or Samaris, but I think it ended up well. It was a good test. But yeah, I think we played well overall.
All right, and I got to address the elephant in the room. How did you think Pizzi played?
I mean, he got a goal, so good for him. But he's still, I don't know, sometimes you don't see him at all. Sometimes he shows up and does something really good. I still think he's a bit missing. He's still not the same Pizzi. I don't know what's going on, if something's affecting him. But he still is kind of missing from the game. Well, at least he got a goal.
I thought he had a good game, to be honest. You know, one goal and then a very good shot saved by the goalkeeper. Overall, he had an okay performance. I mean, it's not the piece that we're used to seeing, but I thought it was a good game by him. Anyway, Cynthia, what did you think about the game?
Same thing, man. I thought it was a good turnout. I think I even tweeted that I feel like this is what Benfica do. They start getting into a stride, and then hopefully we continue this to the end and to the Penta. So we need a couple slip-ups, as per our title of this damn pod.
They just don't want to slip up. All right.
No, they just don't. Nope.
All right. So.
And then they want to call our. Someone comes out and calls our coach a doll. You done? You done there?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. That was really.
I thought it was funny. I'm like, do you like playing with dolls? I don't understand.
Now, what's worse is that he goes ahead and just completely takes it back. Like,
yells out his
I
name.
didn't mean to offend them. I didn't mean to offend them. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'll save it.
I just want to let you guys know that, I mean, it's basically done. You know, Sporting got a goal kick. There we go. The game finished 2-1 for Sporting. They're going through. They're probably going to face Porto, but Porto still has a tough game tomorrow against Moreirense. And, Porto fans should be happy that the game wasn't today because it was raining like hell. And I know Moreira de Cónigo is a little bit far away, but Jesus Christ, it was really rainy today. All right. So my thoughts on Benfica's performance was that I thought was another good game. I mean, it wasn't nothing out of the extraordinary, but it was another solid performance. I think Moreirense had at best 2 opportunities, and you know that wasn't many. I mean, one was a good save by Varela that I think he slipped up on the pitch in the first half, and then on the second half they had that very clear chance that could have made it 1-1, and finally Varela pulled off a big save, which that was a big save. But other than that, I mean, it's what you expect out of a big team. You know, sometimes you're going to concede 1 or 2 opportunities, and you just need your goalkeeper to bail you out. But I thought, it was kind of like what Felipe was saying, also that we created a lot of opportunities. We didn't score. Thankfully, though, I don't think this time it was due to our strikers being, lacking. It was more that I thought the goalkeeper had actually a very good game. And it was surprising how terrible he was in that first goal, because besides that first goal, I thought he was very solid. I mean, he made a save on a Jonas shot that I still don't know how he saved it. He was like 2 meters away from him. That was really good. And he took a little bit of magic from Jonas to get that second goal. I also just want to say that I agree with the Keaton Parks statement. I thought that he actually did a very solid job, and he wasn't scared to go out there and make the tackle when he had to. And João Carvalho obviously also had a very good game. I mean, we only played 15 minutes, but he shows how good he is. So. Hopefully he'll continue to get more minutes. But, besides that, it was just a Benfica performance where they deserved to win, maybe by a few more goals, but they won, and that's all that matters. Unfortunately, the rivals didn't slip up, but I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. Next week, tough game against Braga. But, you got 17 finals, and, you got to win at least 15 out of those. So let's see what happens next week. Bruno, I don't know if you want to say anything about this Benfica game. I know it's not your thing, but...
Well, I watched the game, and, I'm listening to your comments, and I heard Cynthia say something about a stride. I'm not 100% convinced that Benfica's in a stride or in good run of form. I don't think that they played as good as you guys are making it out to be. I thought you guys were a little sluggish. Bruno Varela came up big, and 2 big saves. It's very interesting that Peter talked about the first goal, because the first goal, let's be honest, that is a very sketchy goal. What a frango.
It was.
That was a monumental frango. And then I mentioned it last week about Macarizzi. Let's see where this guy ends up at the end of the season. I'm very interested to see. As for the second goal, that was just completely handed to you guys. Very sketchy again by the defender.
But Bruno, there were several of those chances. That wasn't the only one, and where the defense didn't play well. by Moreirense. But I mean, on the flip side of that, I don't mean to cut you off, but there was a Benfica play where I don't know who made the pass, but it was exactly the same pass, but Moreirense didn't capitalize on their opportunity. So those mistakes do happen, even though you want to call it sketchy or not.
Well, it's sketchy because, okay, you lost the ball. That happens. You shouldn't try to dribble, but okay, you lost the ball. At least try to win it back. He'd never even try to make an effort to win it back. He just stood there and tried to contain, and he just watched. I think it was João Carvalho.
Yeah.
João Carvalho stole the ball and kind of made a simple pass to his left to Jonas, and then the other guy just did a complete ole on the Jonas challenge, and then Jonas just slots it in near post. I mean, I'm not convinced with Benfica's performance. I think Moreirense is one of the weaker teams in the league. I think they're very well down at the bottom, and they're gonna struggle a lot if they don't get a goal scorer because they have a hard time scoring goals. Their benefit is they play in a small field, very narrow, and a lot of teams are going to lose points there. They have to work very hard to get the 3 points, but they don't have a goal scorer like they've had in the past, and they're a team that's going to struggle to stay in the first division.
Yeah, but despite all that, I think that just talking about Porto is that if Porto doesn't win this game for like 4-0, I think it's not a. If Porto goes to Moreira Congress and doesn't win by at least 2 goals, it's gonna be bad because you're right. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit Benfica, but I'm also saying Moreirense aren't the best of sides. No, and I think that their midfield is it's okay. It's not bad. It's actually quite decent. But they foul a lot, and a lot of the players aren't going to be forgiven with yellow cards, and their defense just isn't that good. So,
well, in the defenders' quote unquote defense, I don't understand why the coach continues to play him because I watch the Portuguese league closely, and I don't just watch the big three. I watch all the teams that are on TV, and you watch the highlights. If you go back and you watch the highlights of the Moreirense goals given up, he's on a lot of those goals. My question is, because I was talking to my father about this, and my dad's like, well, don't they have another defender? And I question, is it one of those things with agents, like he always has to play or whatever it is? They're trying to sell him. I don't know, because he's always playing, but he makes a lot of mistakes. And funny thing is that Dozet didn't even start, and by far, he's their most creative midfielder, and he only came in the second half.
Yeah,
I found that very interesting.
Doze hasn't started for like I don't think he's been a viable option for a while now. Several coaches. I don't know what's up with that.
Well,
can I just my sorry, Bruno, I'm going to attack you right back. I'm saying about the stride thing that in the past few seasons it felt like Benfica had a rough start. And then in the second half of the season, they start to get into their stride. And then, there's a win and then there's a second win. And ugly or not, they're wins. And then they build off of that. So that's what I'm getting at. And then with your little sketchy and, everything's a conspiracy theory. The one dude watching that, is it João Carvalho? Come on. What was his name?
João Carvalho came on. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a sub. I remember playing, you get tired, and then somebody with fresh legs, you're like, oh, dear God. So not everybody's like paid off.
No.
He could have just been damn tired and watching him go.
Moreirense were obviously tired because they were pressing Benfica to try and get that equalizer. But
this is, again, Cynthia, I'm kind of defending you in this one. Is like that specific center back.
This is defending me?
No, because he was saying that guy's been terrible.
He's been terrible all season long. If you watch a lot of the games goals that they give up, he's responsible for a good majority of them, but he continues to play. And that's the strangest thing about this.
That's not on us. That's on their coach.
No, I understand. But my thing is like, again, it's me as a coach. I would rip him. I wouldn't start that guy for a long time after, okay, you lost the ball.
Do they have an extra guy?
They do. They have players, but they don't play him. and I find that very interesting. Like he must have some type of deal, some contract where he has to play every game, or they're
Oh,
trying
maybe
to
he
sell
has a
him or
good
something.
agent. Yeah, who knows?
I honestly don't know
But
the guy's name. If I did, I would. I don't know. Do you
it's
remember?
he's Algerian, I think, or Tunisian.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I mean, Sport TV were raving about him, saying that he was their best center back.
Well, best center back. Well, there you go. That's why Moritz is struggling. If he's their best center back,
Yeah, just letting you know.
Hmm.
to be honest, their best center back is Andre Mikael, but that's a different story.
That shows what you know. You're not telling up on the television like these guys are. What do you know,
Yeah, right.
people?
More like they're trying to hide some things. That's a
It
cartelha.
had to be. It had to be. Stop it.
Cartelha.
All right. So, Bruno, you're done on Benfica.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So, Steph joined us, a little bit a while ago, like 5 minutes ago. Steph, do you want to weigh in on this Benfica game or?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Bruno was taking forever, so.
Per usual. As per usual, any other Wednesday.
No, I'm only kidding. No, I mean, Benfica did what they were supposed to do, which was to win at Moreirense, which is always a difficult game to win. Moreirense, like you guys said, they were tired, but Benfica was tired too. I mean, they had a tough game against Sporting, which they should have won, but thankfully they didn't. But no, they did what
Just
they
going to keep rubbing it in our faces, aren't you?
Well, at least I'm admitting it that you guys should have won, which a lot of people don't do it. But they did what they were supposed to do. They won. They got the 3 points, and they still in the race. And that's all she wrote. That's all.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well said. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about it. I'll just ask you both, Americans, because it's something that obviously relates to your country, and if you of attention to the game, I just want to get you guys' thoughts on Keaton and how he did playing the most time he's had for Benfica's A squad. I don't know who wants to go first. So,
Steph, you want to go first since I talk too much, or is it you?
Oh, Bruno.
You've offended him.
Did you drink a glass of water? You must have been thirsty.
Não sou o Carlos Janela.
Saltaste a janela? Porra, cuidado.
Não sou o Carlos Janela. Não sou o Carlos Janela.
I thought you said you jumped from the window.
No, what window? Don't jump out of the window.
Não sou o Carlos Janela.
I understood you, Bruno. Don't worry. They're just messing with you.
So go ahead, Bruno. I just finished speaking. So go ahead.
Well, Keaton is he's a big, tall guy. He's very physical and very strong, and he runs a lot. Very typical American style of player. Now they're trying to adapt him to a different position, which is more of an 8 or even possibly a 6. Rui Vitória must think that, with his body frame, he might be able to convert him into a more physical and more of a ball winner. Listen, he's got a lot of tools in his favor. The question is he going to be able to convert from an attacking position to a defending position?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well said. Steph, do you want to weigh in on this? It's, I asked the Americans.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mas o Steph é francês.
Dá o cachete. O Keaton Park.
Arkansas.
Oh no. Abort.
Aborto? Quem é que está a fazer abortos? Vá?
Oh my lord! Yeah, really. What are you doing there?
Anyway, Keaton Park is a play with simple processes, like most of Americans. The way we play soccer in America, from high school to college to the MLS level, it's simple processes. And in some games that could be very important and very useful for Benfica. You don't have to be technicista all the time. You need players like him that play simple touch and go. So personally, I like him, not because he's from the United States, But I think he has lots of potential. He's only 20 years old. He's a tall player, like Bruno said. He's 1 meter 93 centimeters. But the only thing I gotta say is Benfica needs to post a picture of him on the record. No, it has no picture, bro. What's going on with that? So
Poor guy gets no picture. He's
but,
a nobody.
but besides that, I like him.
Maybe he
So
was too tall in the photo.
They just
You
didn't
know?
catch him.
Maybe
I
it was
thought
just the chin. They're
He's
like,
the faceless man.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The poor guy.
então
Yeah.
e o Luizão com aquela cabeçona tem direito à fotografia?
Yeah,
That's what
o
I'm saying. Maybe
extraterrestre.
he's not. He was like in
Yeah.
that falling thing.
O E.T.
Yeah, so that's it. I just hope he gets called to the national team because he's a player with very physical with lots of potential.
All right. Thank you for that. So
And he's from
now,
Texas.
that's definitely a very important input there.
They say everything is bigger in Texas.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God.
É verdade.
Peter, when you respond like that, then yeah, you make it. Oh my god!
What?
They were talking about steaks, guys. Steaks.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Of course. I stick.
Right.
Não é
Exactly.
Brothers lá no Texas.
chouriças, é steaks.
Yeah.
Oh, Steph, diz-lhe, as vacas são mais gordas em Texas.
Não, em Portugal não são mais gordas, meu.
Oh, meu Deus, começa.
Não, lá é baleias, meu. Já estás aí, isso é um animal diferente.
Back to what matters. Back to football.
I know, because it looks like we're talking about the zoo or something. But
I know, right? So I was going to say, I don't think I have anything else to add on Benfica other than let me just think quickly from the top of my head that why did I forget the guy, our left back's name, the Brazilian guy?
Oh,
No, Adams. Adams got loaned out to Cruzeiro, and we signed what is like Rapik or I think it's Rapik or something or whatever from Malmo. But he's gonna.
Peter, I have a question for you. Ele disse que ganhou muita experiência no Benfica. Ele só jogou um jogo. Yeah.
That's a lot of experience,
não sei.
Bruno.
Hey, listen, foi nos treinos, caralho.
Ai, foi nos treinos.
E no restaurante, o caralho. Sabes como é?
Tá bom.
Pois, já sabes. No, I got no idea, man. I got no idea. But yeah, that's it for now. I think for news. I mean, there were rumors of Bruno Perez and Darmian also popped up, but nothing actual, that we should discuss. I think. So let's move on to Sporting now. Steph, I don't know if you got the lineup because I got the lineup right here in case you don't have it.
I do actually. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So I'll let you take reign then.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm sorry about being late. I just recently changed shifts. I used to work from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. Now I have a different schedule, different dynamic, and I wasn't used to the traffic, so I got home late, and I saw a little bit of the Sporting game cover de Piedad the last 10 minutes maybe.
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks, but yeah, I do have the lineup for the game against Maritimo, which we won 5-0 at home. So and between the pipes, like Mikey says from 3-2 Rui Patricio. Then we had in that the defensive line Ritovski, Coates, André Pinto, and Fábio Coentrão. In the midfield we had in front of the center backs Will Carvalho and Bruno Fernandes, and then we had Gelson Martins and Podesta on the wings. And believe it or not, I don't know why, we had Brian Ruiz and Bas Dost. And that was the lineup for Sporting. So we played well. Marítimo, like Bruno, I've said it so many times, is a upcoming team. They actually in fifth place behind Sporting Braga. They've been playing well. So the first half, it was a 50-50 game. Marítimo, they were doing what they were supposed to. They could have scored right at the beginning, which it could have been a different game. They didn't. Then we scored with a goal from Bas Dost at minute 21st, and then the second half was a totally different game. Sporting woke up, and I don't know what JJ said, but we came blazing, and at minute 50, Brian Ruiz scored the second goal, which gave some peace of mind to the Sporting players. Then Bas Dost, minute 74, kind of sentenced the game, totally killed the game. Marítimo never gave up on their style of play. But then Bas Dost, it was his day with a hat trick at minute 78. And then to finalize, Acuna, minute 90 plus 2, he basically devastated Marítimo. And Marítimo is a good team. And don't tell me they're not a good team just because they lost against Sporting. But, I guess that the players of Sporting had a point to prove that the game against Benfica was a shitty game, and they had to convince us that it was just a fluke, and they are a good team, and they were a good team. 5-0, there's no question. That was one of the most peaceful wins I ever witnessed in my life. So that's it.
Okay, I was just going to say real quick because I zoned out after the first goal. You were just saying about how Marítimo aren't a bad team, but they haven't been coming from the best of results. Let's just say that.
But they've been climbing up and in fair place. They're just behind Braga by a couple of points, not too many.
Yeah, they did beat Braga, but they did lose out to Porto, then tied then also, they beat União da Madeira, but then lost to Chaves. So, just not the best string of results.
They tied with Rio Ave in fifth place with 27 points. Yeah, they've lost the last 3 games actually.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to point that out. Not to take credit away from you. I was just saying that they're not going through their best form.
No.
Well, the most disappointing thing was their coach at the flash interview when he was asked about his season. He was saying something along the lines like, they asked him about the Europa League, and he's like, "What Europa League? I never said we were a candidate of the Europa League. We're only a candidate to stay in the first division." I thought that was very. It was much different than in the beginning of the season when they were in good form. He was saying that they're going to be a candidate, that they're going to be challenging for the top 5.
I mean, maybe he's starting to see something that just isn't working.
What's not working? Again, they have a somewhat decent goal scorer in Rodrigo Pinho, I think his name is. I know it's Pinho something or something Pinho, but
I don't know.
I think it's Rodrigo Pinho. And they got some wingers that are pretty good, and they got but their best midfielder, in my opinion, is Eber Bessa, and he didn't even start. I don't believe.
I don't know. I didn't check.
I'll let
I
you
didn't
know.
pay attention to it. So, but I don't know if anybody else besides Steph watched these games. Just so I know, did anybody else watch this game?
Which
Sporting game?
This Sporting game.
Oh, the one on now? No.
No, the Sporting Marítimo game, people. Come on.
Yes. Well, I don't know. You said this one. I'm like, which today's?
The
No,
one
I
that
watched
we're
the
just literally talking about.
No.
Did you watch
I
the
watched
Marítimo game?
games. Yeah.
All right. So what
I
did
watched
you
this
think?
one. I watched the Porto one. Oh, it was awful.
Oh, great. So Cynthia, what did you think?
I thought it was classic goddamn Sporting, and it's annoying. And
What's classic Sporting?
this whole we're gonna win after tying you guys, and then exactly what Steph said. We're not a terrible team. We can win. Yeah, we know you can, but it's annoying. Shut up.
All right, that was great insight.
Gosh, those came
I don't know.
out.
You want to say?
All the guys
say
come out.
anything?
It's terrible.
Bruno?
Who? Oh no! No, I do, but I'm gonna actually let Philippe, because Philippe hasn't really talked, so I'll let Philippe go first.
I don't know if you watched the game. Flip, did you watch the Sporting game? I don't think he's here. Maybe.
I don't see Philippe.
Sorry, I had my.
Oh, okay. Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched most of it, not all, but did watch.
All right. So weighing on the game, what did you think?
Basically, what Steph said, it was pretty controlled. Apart from the start, Marítimo did threaten sometimes, but they didn't really score. Then Sporting got 1 goal, and it was basically controlled from there. I mean, you can't really complain about the result or say it was exaggerated because Sporting took their chances, they controlled the game well, they played like they were expected to play after a game where they struggled. They needed to give a convincing win, and I think they did, really.
All right. There you go, Bruno. Flip's already talked. I don't know.
I don't want to cut the guy out.
It's finished, bro.
No, well, I mean, not much to be said. I mean, Maritimo, they used a different strategy than they did in the Dragão. They tried to play eye to eye with Sporting, and they got ripped. They don't have the personnel to match with Sporting, and I think the coach got a little too arrogant, thinking that he did, and he paid a heavy penalty for it. Could have been by more. It was 5-0. Could have been by. There could have been more goals scored by Sporting.
There could have. It's disgusting.
I'm glad I zoned out after the first goal and went away.
What do you mean? You fell asleep?
No, I went to my bedroom and started watching.
We don't want to know what he did.
Drags game.
We don't want to know.
Yeah, we don't want to know. Thinking about it.
I just said I watched the Bills game. Stop being dirty.
Sure.
We're not being dirty. You could have been painting your room or something.
Why would I be painting?
No, no, I don't want to know.
Of course. All right. So anyway, Steph, is that it about this game? About this Maritim game?
Yeah, there were no polemica really. So
all right, pronto. So we're just gonna quickly I'll weigh in really quickly because I don't think nobody else watched the game against Cova da Piedade. So I'll just weigh in real quick and then we'll talk about a couple of transfers that happened and then we'll move on to Porto if that's okay with you guys. And I think Bruno also caught glimpses of the glimpses.
I was watching it.
I'll let Bruno weigh in too, but from what I thought was that it was actually a kind of an even game. I thought Cova da Piedade had a couple of good chances. I mean, Bruno did see the ball that hit the bar. I thought that was a very good shot.
There was two of them, weren't there? There was two balls off the pole.
There were two, but I only saw one.
No,
there were two. There were two because they showed up on the stat sheet. I don't know which one it was, but
o outro tirou bocadinho de tinta. Vá lá, okay.
Pronto.
I did see the highlights.
Okay, you watched the highlights.
Yeah,
okay.
I did. Yeah.
So if you want to weigh in with that, we'll let you weigh in on that.
Okay, so today's lineup was Rui Patricio, defense Christovski, André Pinto, Coates, Fábio Contral, defense midfield Bataglia, Brian Ruiz, Acunha, Bruno Fernandes, Palhinha, and Podence. So basically,
Palhinha didn't start.
No, that was at the end. So
are you guys saying his name right?
Initially, it was Bruno César and Dumbia.
The Palhinha guy?
Palhinha. Yeah, it's Palhinha.
Palhinha. It's a straw. It's a little straw.
It's a little straw.
Eu não disse pilinha, eu disse palhinha.
Oh, Stefan, é sempre a mesma coisa.
Fantastic.
Ela é canadiana, está a pensar que um gajo não sabe falar português, ok? Eu não disse pilinha.
That's fantastic.
Eu sei que não disseste. Ok, moving on, vai lá.
Está pronto, a gente muda mais o nome, rapaz.
Distraw. Fica distraw.
Ok, o palhão.
That's even worse.
That's worse.
Anyway.
Oh my lord.
Oh meu Deus.
Opa, a gente não aprende nada com vocês.
Não dá mesmo. Anda lá.
Pronto, a Cintia já está apaixonada pelo Palhinha.
Pronto, e depois não gosta de sair daqui. No more unrelated comments to the guy's name.
No, not at all. It's hilarious.
Okay, so anyway, the initial team. This is why Sporting went to the winter market and got the players that we got because these players were given a golden chance. Bruno César, Dumbia, Brian Ruiz were given a golden chance to prove that they deserve to be players of Sporting Clube Portugal, and they don't. I don't know what's the obsession with Dumbia. He's not a Sporting player. I mean, he didn't even play well against Cova da Piedade. That's a second division team. The second half we had to bring in our top guns, Bruno Fernandes and Bas Dost to win the game, and that's to me that's embarrassing because Bruno Cesar's salary most likely plays for the whole budget of Cover de Piedad, and having such a expensive player in our squad, it's just embarrassing. Brand Ruiz has to go. Dumbia has to go. Let the Chinese take him for 50 millions and hotel de lacinho verde com leão e cabaz de frutas e tudo. But yeah, so the first half was very tough. When halftime came, Covia de Piedad should have been up by at least 1-0, if not 2-0. They played better than Sporting, not so much in positional attack, but in counter-attack, they were lethal. They hit the post twice. I was kidding about what I said before. The second half was different just because we brought Bruno Fernandes, which he has proven that he's an excellent player, and Bas Dost. Even then, we scored, and Bruno Fernandes with a beautiful goal, but kind of
completely deflected. I mean,
kind of cheesy at the same time. Because he hit the defender and then guarda-redes. But then what happens right after a penalty? It's embarrassing that Sporting couldn't contain the 1-0 against a second division team.
it wasn't a matter of minutes too. It was like, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes.
But Steph, in Sporting's defense, that wasn't a penalty.
No. Olha, sabes uma coisa? No. Mesmo que não fosse penalty, puseram-se a jeito, meu. Contra o Benfica, we gave reasons for the referee to call penalties. He could have called those place penalties. He could have. He didn't. But today he did. Rui Costa today he did.
Yeah, Steph. I just wanted to say something really quickly that I forgot in the Moreirense game, where a player he was not at all looking at the ball. The ball first hits his back, and then he hits his arm, which the ball falls to his feet, and the referee called the foul against Moreirense, and I was like, going by Steph's rule that you did say that it's on the
criteria.
Books, that's not a foul, and I also didn't think it was a foul. But you see that the rule that you were talking about is not applied as often as it should be, or they need to alter it because the player was completely unaware of the situation. He had no idea where the ball was. He was just running. The ball hit his back and then he hit his arm. But since it fell to his feet and he was in a dangerous position, the referee decided to call a foul. I just wanted to weigh in on that real quick.
Which is fine, but you and me and nobody can control the referees the way they think.
I know. I was just telling you that the rule is not always applied. That's
okay. But this at the same time in the same game, since you want to bring one player, I'll bring another player too. When the Moreirense player kicks the ball e o Ruben Dias com o braço vai-lhe direto ao braço. É penalty ou não?
Not in my opinion.
No, exactly. Por quê?
Because it's unintentional. It's just, and the ball is close to his arm. So
okay.
As I'm close to his body. That's what I meant.
Okay, I know what you meant to say, but but if I want to insist in this play, I could say, well, his arm look like a chicken wing.
I know if you want to, but if you wanted that, I could just bring up the other ones, and I don't want to. I was just saying that you said,
I know, but you already did bring the other ones. So
what I was just trying to tell you, and this was it: the Coentrão play. Let's imagine, or not even that one, the one with Piccini, that he hits his belly and then it hits his arm. You said that by the rules, once it hits like a part of the body and then the arm, it's not a foul. And I was just telling you that the referee in this Benfica game thought that the ball, despite hitting the Moreirense player's back and then his arm, he still called it a handball. That's all I was just pointing out, that the rule is not always applied. That was just it. Nothing more to it.
Which is fine, and that will happen again next round, and next round, and next round, and next round, because our referees suck. Basically,
I know.
They're not consistent, because that play that Moreirense, when he kicked the ball and Ruben Dias estava com o braço no corpo, but he did move it and it looked like a chicken wing. To me, it was a penalty. But when in doubt, you don't call it. Today, Bruno is saying against Cover de Piedad it wasn't a penalty, but you know what? Quando pões de jeito, it might be a penalty because the referee controls the game. So, of course, they called it a penalty. I'm not bitching about it. It's not worth it because once the referee calls it. But Sporting shouldn't have let the Cova da Piedade players get so deep into the box. That's all. I still blame Sporting, basically, for the penalty because how can you get a second division team, diminish you, put you against the wall, and put yourself in a position of getting a penalty against you? So,
and not just that, the offside trap didn't work as well because the players were slow to get off. I don't know if you saw that on the replay, but I think that play comes from a free kick or something. And at real time, I thought the guy was offside, but obviously the replay shows that he's clearly onside. So that also means that the offside trap or the players going back into the line trying to put the other players offside also didn't work. So.
But anyway, resumindo e concluindo, Bas Dosti came in, he saved the day, he scored the goal at minute 78. Then Sporting controlled the last 16 minutes because it was 4 minutes of overtime. And then, did we deserve to win? Yes, but at the same time, if we face Porto in the semi-final playing like this, we're going to be spanked. So I'm glad that we got new players, and we'll talk about it, I guess, in a little bit. But today Sporting played shitty again. Didn't convince me at all. Sporting Kisha, we concerned because Brian Ruiz, this was his last chance. Bruno Cesar, if he plays with good players, he's okay. But when he plays surrounded with bad players, he's not that good either. It's not his fault. And Doumbia, really, there's nothing that convinces me he should stay at Sporting. We should sell him ASAP, especially if there's a Chinese team willing to give him 15 million. Já hoje via FedEx, oh caralho.
All right.
And so, that's it.
Bruno, I don't know if you just want to weigh in on the game because I know you watched a little bit of it. So,
does Philippe want to go first?
I didn't watch the game, so I can't.
Okay. It was a sloppy game by Sporting. Let's be honest, it was a sloppy game. Cova da Piedade, they were just trying to defend with whatever they could. They had they try to just play a low block and try to go and counterattack. They have some interesting players. They took a couple of shots at the post. But at the end of the day, I mean, those were their best chances. They couldn't score. I do agree with Steph. There's some players that they're given a chance to start. And if you don't do anything with your chance, then maybe you shouldn't be on that team. I mean, I also agree with Steph that, if Doumbia has an offer for, 20 million and Sporting is supposed to get, 10 million or something out of that, or they can make 10 million out of it, something like that. It's something that you need to do right away. I don't see why you need to have Alan Ruiz and Brian Ruiz on the roster. They just, I don't think they add anything to the team. I mean, they're just basically taking up somebody else's spot. Yuri Medeiros just doesn't play, and to me, it's incomprehensible how that kid doesn't play.
He's done. He's done for in Sporting. But
you know what? I hope he does become. I hope he becomes available, and I would love to see Porto pick him up because he's a sensational player.
I was thanking somebody else different, but sorry, Steph, go ahead.
Who are you talking about?
We were talking
Yuri
about
Medeiros.
He's done.
Not necessarily. I mean, from what I understand, Geneva of Italy wants to buy him. So
that's why I said he's done. He's done for Sporting. There's no future for him.
But he's not going to Food Club Port.
It's too bad. I would like to see Alan Ruiz at Benfica too. So it is what it is.
Alan Ruiz. Oh, you can take him.
Alan Ruiz, you would want him?
No, you can.
Peter, he's not a player.
He's not a player
for Europe.
His last 6 months. His last 6 months last year at Sporting, I thought were very good. I thought he was.
He's not a player for Europe.
I thought he was vital.
He's too slow.
I hope he goes to Benfica.
I was just saying. I know a lot of people don't like him. I rate him. I like what I saw.
He's like a Gabigol. So yeah, take him.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever.
It is what it is. I take him.
Até dou-te o Ferrari vermelho e as masteiras vermelhas e tudo.
I was just saying my opinion on the guy. Don't kill me for it. Jeez.
No, I'm not killing you, bro. Take it easy. Pá, viste muito café hoje ou quê?
Pronto. All right, I was just saying that his last 6 months last year impressed me a lot, and I'm just kind of surprised he never got back into that form. That's it. I think he's a good player, and I think maybe he's one of those that is going to get away, or maybe he's just one of those that everybody was right all along, and it was just trash. But anyway, let's just talk really quickly about I don't know. Sporting signed like 3 guys, right? They signed Vendel, they signed Ruben Ribeiro, and who was the other guy?
And Mizik.
Okay, so your thoughts on those 3 guys, Steph?
Okay, so basically, Wendell is only 20 years old. He's a number. Typically, he plays number 8, but he could play number 6. And he's more in a box-to-box player. Dribbling is average, but he has a great vision. He's like you could say similar to Bataglia. But he's not someone that will give us a big impact now in January. It's more that will prep him for next season. He's not ready to go yet. So keep in mind, he's only 20 years old. So moving on to Misic, he plays for the national team of Croatia. He's better than Petrovic times 20. He's also a taller player. He plays much better than Petrovic as far as transitioning from midfield to offense, and that's what we need. But in my mind, buying 2 players with similar positions, it drives me to believe that we're about to sell someone. Maybe Battaglia, because WBA and West Ham, they made an offer around 15 millions and 20 millions. Sporting is asking for 30 millions, but then they said they'll be willing to sell him for 25, depending on the details of the contract. Me, for 20 millions, I would sell him today as well. But I'm not gonna doubt the negotiation skills of Bruno Carvalho, because he knows what he's doing. And then the other player that we got, Ruben Ribeiro, is I'm a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, he knows the Portuguese league quite well. And I heard the Sporting 160 comments yesterday in regards to Ruben Ribeiro. They said he's excellent dribbling, has a great vision, knows our league quite well, and he'll be a good fit for Sporting. And from what I understand, JJ is going to try to play him next to Bas Dost, to support Bas Dost.
I thought you were going to say try and play him as a left back.
No. So we shall see. I'm excited about it. And then what else? I think they were talking about the Sandro Martinez, the Everton.
Yeah, not happening.
I don't think so. He's way too expensive. He makes too much money. Unless it would be on a loan, then it would be feasible. But this guy, he makes I think 200,000 a month.
Yeah, we're talking about UK.
Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, but we lack of a striker, and I would say another winger. That's all I would like to see. Marcelo, he might be coming to Sporting in January. For sure, he'll be with us in July. And then Rafinha, also, we're trying to negotiate with Guimarães to get him now in January instead of July. And we're talking about giving up Helden, because he's still our player, like giving Helden to them so we can have Rafinha now.
You would need to pay a little bit for that.
No, we Well, no, we would give him the full pass of Helden to avoid any payment, because Rafinha is a free player. So
right, but that's just what it is. What it is. To me, that's a terrible deal for Guimarães. I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on these players. I mean, I'm just going to go out and say that Ruben Ribeiro is one of the biggest hotheads in Portuguese football. I absolutely despise the guy. He's despicable even being on the field. But he's also very talented. But I think he's just another like Quaresma type of player, or Ruben Micael type of player, where he loses his head really quickly. And for a guy that supposedly said that he was going to go to Porto, and then he tells his teammates that he's going to go to Sporting, and he's going to keep and he keeps going about it on the locker room. I don't know if he's going to be a very good influence to the team. I just completely hate the guy, and I really don't expect him to do much at Sporting, if anything at all. But we'll see. I mean, he was announced like a while ago, and he's still played 2 games for Rio, which I find is quite weird, but it is.
Well, they have a specific day that he's going to be coming to Sporting. They when they had negotiated the contract.
Okay.
I think it's January. Is it January 11th? Today was his last game, right, Steph?
Okay.
Ruben Ribeiro.
Yeah, they him and Wendell, they'll report to Sporting amanhã.
Okay. Well,
no, Wendell's been training already. I already saw him training.
You music.
Okay, makes more sense.
Oh, music.
I don't know.
Vai com a guitarra ou não?
The
Flauta Lisa.
Croatian guy. But anyway, Vandal, I also don't know much, but Porto really wanted him. I just
He's
don't.
a good player.
I don't know the fee, like 8 million. Like, where's Sporting getting all this money? I mean, first they get Acuna.
It's a bargain.
7.5.
Honestly, it's a bargain.
I mean, it might be a bargain. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that tell them 10 million for Acuna, 8 million for Bruno Fernandes, 7.5 million for Vandal. Where they're getting all this money?
Oh.
I'm just saying, bro. There's a lot of money.
But you don't. I guess you only hear what you want to hear, bro. Because first of all, it was 7.5. Second of all,
I corrected myself.
Okay, 10 million was last summer. Don't include. Yes, 10 million was last summer. So you including several different.
Of course, it's this season. It's
okay,
still a transfer for this season. That's how I meant.
But okay, you know a little bit. Everybody knows a little bit about budgeting. You're talking about You're talking about fiscal year 17. This Wendell was bought in fiscal year 18, the second quarter. So every quarter they put out the budget. Sporting were positive by 24.5 million. So
we'll just see if the money keeps on coming.
Olha, preocupa-te com o teu Benfica.
No, I'm just saying, man. I think it's a lot of money that they're spending. I wish I had that amount of money that I could spend like 25 million on 3 players.
Hey, like Philippe said, it's a bargain. When we sell him, it'll be much more.
I mean, the least would cost like 3 million. So anything, we're gonna get a bargain for that too. So, just saying.
Yeah,
anyway, I don't know if anybody knows.
Keep buying goalkeepers, bro.
Jesus. I don't know if anybody else
You're
wants to weigh
feisty
in on
today,
the transfer.
Steph.
Opa, porque a gente tem que falar com factos. Não pode falar assim agora, sir.
I'm not talking like I'm just saying my opinion that I think it's a lot of money for us Portuguese teams to spend like 25 plus million on 3 players. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, you spend 20 million no Rafa.
Of course, that was a lot of money. That was a gigantic amount of money.
But that's one player.
Big beard, Steph. You got to pay for the weight of the beard.
we spent.
And that was 16 million, by the way. 16 million.
Okay, you Rulli menos 22, now.
Yeah, that was like 22 million.
So
absolutely the most ridiculous transfer in
between
Portugal.
2 players, you spend 40 million, and we spent 25 in 3 players. Olha, a gente teve desconto, caraca.
You're at the IKEA. We got to go to IKEA.
Anyway, Philippe, you know about Vendel? I don't know if you about him.
I watched a lot of Fluminense last year. I mean, they were struggling, but Vendel reminds me a lot of Ruben Neves because of the way he plays, and he also has a really good long shot. He can get some good goals and 3 kicks as well. So he reminds me a bit of how Ruben Neves is, but he's not exactly a defensive type of midfielder. But he's not the type of player that just gets the ball and runs forward. He has good vision, like Steph said, and it's not the most skillful with the ball at his feet, but he can pick a good pass. He does the right call most of the time. So
6.5 is
it's still pretty good.
It's not a 6 and not an 8.
Yeah, and as well considering PSG were going to buy him for like 20 million, and apparently loan him to Porto. I think I heard that a lot, but never happened. I mean, Sporting. That's why I think Sporting got a bargain. They just went in at the right time when PSG couldn't get because of the financial fair play.
Mm-hmm.
So they went at a good time. Fluminense are really in need of money. They are going through a bad time. So it's a good deal for everyone involved.
Really, really quick question then. If we're talking about a player like you said, and then I said 6.5. So not even a 6 and not an 8. does that mean that Sporting needs to start playing with 3 men in the midfield to like accumulate his position since he's not an actual 6 and not an 8?
He can play like more deep, but he's not the type of player to just stay deep. If that makes sense.
No,
he
it
can
does.
still do the position, but he's not going to go forwards on an adventures anyways. But it's still a player that will do well for Sporting. I mean, regardless of how they decide to use him. But yeah, I mean, they'll have to think how they could accommodate him. Yeah.
All right, Bruno. I don't know if you want to weigh in on any of the transfers.
Please. Well, with Wendell's the guy that, he's the big money guy. But we also have to realize what Cavaleta said in his press conference when they asked him. Ele não é para agora, which does it mean he's not for now? He's not for the present. He's for the future.
Exactly.
And I think Steph touched on it. I think Sporting has to let go of a couple of players. Petrovic was one guy. You have potentially Battaglia, and if they sell Battaglia for 15 million, Steph?
They got an offer of 20 millions, and I would sell them for 20.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's not worth that.
If you're getting an offer for 15 million, you wrap them up in a nice little bow and you ship them off right now.
Bubble wrap.
He's bubble wrap, whatever you want. He's a guy to sell immediately for that amount of money. You don't wait around. The Croatian guy, I'm not very familiar with. I think Sporting has to retouch their roster a little bit. I mean, Mateus Oliveira seems to still be at Sporting. He was supposed to go to Guimarães. The deal with Rafinha potentially coming to Sporting, that's a big one. That's a game-changing player. He can go into any of the big three, and he can really shake things up for any of the big three. He's that good of a player. But is Guimarães willing to sell him right now? Because he's basically their best offensive threat that they have. And if they sell him the second half of the season, there's no chance they're going to be able to stay, maybe even in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with you. I heard rumors of Mateus Oliveira. You reminded me of that they were going to also send them over to Guimarães to try and make the deal easier.
It's a possibility because Mateus Oliveira, Sporting got him, but Jorge Jesus saw something that he didn't like much about him, like in practice and certain games he played in Taça da Liga and Taça Portugal. And I don't think he'll have a chance at Sporting. So might as well use him as a bargaining chip.
He came in as a free transfer, so you're not losing any money.
They got nothing to lose. Yeah, I still think it was a stupid call to bring him over, but I mean, it is what it is.
But big clubs like Sporting, Benfica, and Porto typically
we do that. Yeah,
we do it like Porto did it with Hernani. Benfica did with Horta and so many other players, and it's really to have an advantage of to negotiate with these clubs for a better player in the future. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know. It's just slightly upsetting when I don't think Mateus Oliveira is the case, but when you see a guy that you think has potential, but then you just try and use him as a bargaining chip, it's just a little bit annoying and upsetting. But it is what it is. Just business to them. All right. So, Steph, I don't know if you have to move on to your other endeavors, because I heard you had other stuff.
No. It was postponed for tomorrow.
Okay, so that's cool. But I think we're moving on from Sporting now. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say. I think we pretty much tapped out.
I do want to say one thing because you guys have been droning on and I'm dying over here. I've been giggling like a schoolgirl because that's what happens. And then Philippe was saying that there was a player who he can play deep if he needs to and he come back. And the whole time I wanted to be like, Sepilingu.
Really?
So that's my headspace.
That's the best contribution to today's podcast.
I got this, guys. I got this. We can shut it down.
That was amazing. Do we even have to talk Porto now? I think we should just end it on this. Like, that was perfect. No,
temos que falar da equipa que está no primeiro lugar de isolado. Isoladíssimo.
Oh, God. We have to talk about... Steph, did you see the photo I sent you when you guys were in first place for like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make it your background and everything?
No, I don't have to.
All right.
all these shots.
I don't have to. We still have 15 rounds, and the teams will lose points, including Sporting and Benfica. It'll be who's more consistent at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not, you guys. Sorry.
So, I mean, Porto didn't play that well against Feirense, but but it's not because Porto didn't play well against Feirense. It's because these teams, in Portugal, they have good coaches, they have good administrations, they have good stadiums, good practice fields. In Portugal, o profissionalismo está tudo mudado. So these teams are difficult to beat now. When you think, oh, today is going to be an easy game, it's Benfica Estoril or Sporting Tondela or Porto Setúbal, it's going to be an easy game. Not anymore. These teams in Portugal, the players, they treated very well. They eat well. They train well. We have the best coaches in the whole world. I mean, you have our coaches. They coach in England, in France, in Spain, all over the world in the best league. So it's not easy to win against these teams anymore. So if our teams don't give it 100%, we will lose against the smaller teams because they're
striving for points.
Yeah.
And they play 100% against us. Yeah. You might get a bigger payout.
And if we don't, we lose.
Too. Don't forget about the points, people.
Yes, and the points.
And I'm really, really, really interested to see how we're going to be on the 34th round because, Benfica will be playing at home against Moreirense, Porto will be away at Guimarães, and Sporting away at the Madeira, man. That's going to... Hopefully things will go down to that because it would be really cool because it's
going to be interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on now to Porto. Porto played Vitória de Guimarães, like I said, or Vitória Sport Club if you guys prefer. They beat them 4-2. So I'm going to give you the Porto lineup. So
I can do it. I can do it if you want.
You can do it? All right.
It's his team. Be quiet.
Não sei porquê, porque mau gosto, merda.
José Sá em gol. Ricardo Pereira, Ivan Marcano, Diego Reyes, and Alex Telles in the back. Danilo Pereira as the 6, Oliver Torres as the 10, Corona on the right, Brahimi on the left, Abubakar and Marega up top.
Thank God I didn't watch this game.
I mean, if I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of people already tweeting and posting all different types of statuses on social media when they found Porto losing. Listen, Porto did not start off well in the game. They looked very nervous once again. They were missing a lot of passes that they normally didn't miss. They were missing some goals. Guimarães, lots of credit has to be given to them. They were defending very, very well with a very low block. They created one chance, which is the goal that they scored. Actually, they only had 2 shots the whole game, and they scored 2 goals. The first goal of the game is offside by a knee, but he is offside. Question is, where is the VAR? VAR, I guess he was watching.
They're out to lunch. They're all out to lunch.
Which goal are you talking about?
Guimarães goal.
Contra o Porto?
Yeah, it's offside.
Who else would he say is offside?
You said by a knee?
By a knee.
By a knee, but he's offside.
Okay, so you know as well as I do that the VAR doesn't have any lines because you on Three Tugas with the Pedro and Litus, you kept on talking about lines. There's no lines.
Yes, I understand, but even without the line, you can kind of tell that he's
there.
Ahead.
It is. I'm glad you said the way you said. Kind of tell it doesn't cut it. It has to be a sure thing with a
doubt.
Stop.
You always talk like a lawyer. You sound doubtful.
You just said it kind of. Ma merda. Thinks it's
hold on a second. And when there's a doubt, you always benefit the attacker. So no big deal. I mean, what is a big deal is the penalty's not called. That's the big deal. Marega getting.
I watched. I'm just gonna say that I watched the highlights and I see 0 penalties. So unless they didn't show it on the highlights, I got no idea what you're talking about. Yep.
Wow, 0.
If you're talking about the Marega flop or something, and then the
Bruno,
the
I gotta tell you,
flop.
I watched the game too, and I was watching one of my Portista buddies on his feed, and there was a lot of stuff he was calling that I didn't see as a neutral, because I don't watch to be against Porto. I watch because it's soccer. And I didn't see a lot of the stuff he was calling for either. So I don't understand what you guys are calling.
So hold on a second. So Marega gets dragged down from the back. And if you guys want pictures, I have it.
Okay,
I mean,
now show me the photos of you guys doing the same thing to Guimarães. Porto is a physical team. When you guys play that way, the refs let you. They're going to let the other team play that way back. You're not ballerinas.
The referee couldn't see that.
You guys play like NFLers. You're going to get NFLers back.
The referee couldn't see the pull on the jersey because you could if you didn't watch Porto, you wouldn't even know what Marega's number was. No, but you wouldn't even know what Marega's number was because the jersey was so pulled back.
It was all the way up. Yeah, I saw it. We saw his undershirt.
Okay, well that's a penalty. That's a penalty. That's a penalty, hands down. And then there was
you guys did it
another.
Didn't you guys win for?
No, Guimarães never came in the box.
Didn't you guys win for it too?
Yeah, but
not enough, Steph. It's not enough. The Portista I follow, he's going on as well.
Tá sempre para chorar, meu. Ainda bem que tu não és uma mulher, andava sempre para chorar por aí.
Well, no, penalties have to be called. No, I'm just questioning what the VAR is doing. That's a VAR play, and he's not paying attention.
The VAR is out to lunch. All of them are out to lunch.
They're watching porno. That's what they're watching.
You guys. Eu não vejo essas coisas.
O que, porno?
Quem?
No, Steph, you wouldn't, because you're a beautiful sportingista. You would never watch that. Remember, you guys are the best fans. You're so mannered.
It has nothing to do with sporting when it comes to porn.
But anyway, the first half was not very well played by Porto. We were missing a lot of passes. The dynamic wasn't there. Halftime came, and I have to say the whole dynamic of Porto changed. We were connecting the passes that we were connecting, that we weren't connecting in the first half. There was a lot of more combination play. The speed of play was so much greater. The high pressure was just completely, it's super intense.
Remembered how to play.
That Guimarães had no answer. They couldn't even get out of their half. Till eventually the goal scored by Abubakar was a good goal. Jesus Corona, the only thing that he did in terms of the game was the actual cross for the first goal. Other than that, he was not very good. Oliver, same thing. I was talking to one of our listeners about Oliver, and Oliver, I have to say, like, he didn't have the best first half, but in the second half he played much better. He was much more efficient with his passes. The second goal came by Marega, then the third one and fourth one, and then that was it. And then Eldon scored late in the game a goal. Reyes was at fault. I don't know how a lot of Portistas are all about Reyes. Oh, Reyes should be starting, not Felipe. Listen, we don't have Felipe in the starting lineup. We're going to keep on giving up goals. That's the bottom line.
Well, now you have proof for that.
And that's it's so clear that he makes such a big difference. Because even Marcano doesn't play as well as he does without him.
I said that last week.
He's a big part to our team, and you know, we can see why that there's such the campaign of trying to get Felipe red carded every game, and now it's Brahim, and then it's Danilo.
This is what I said, man. I was on Twitter and I'm watching the Porto game, and I've got this Portista I follow, and right away, oh, they're not calling us. I see how it is. We're contra todos. Okay, pa. Holy shit.
Contra tudo e contra todos, mais nada.
Moving on, Bruno.
Mentirosos e tudo.
Are you done with the game?
Vocês já andam muito estressados, não sei porquê.
Everybody needs to calm down.
Estressados, já devíamos estar com 5 pontos de avanço e não está.
Pois
é. For being in first place, they're really crazy.
Vocês estão mal habituados nos anos 80 e 90, era 10 por 15 pontos de
Ei,
avanço.
anos 80 e 90. Ei, tu
Bruno.
estás mal habituado dos anos 40 e 50. Está calado.
Eu não era nascido e ainda estava nos colhões do meu avô. Caraca, meu.
People. Time out.
Okay. Já tens que ir para a cama?
No, I'm just I need to control this, bro. I'm the host.
Já tens o pijama?
I'm alright. Yes, I'm in bed. If that information is important. Anyway, guys.
Mas tens cuecas de tiroilas ou não?
Tenho cuecas, tenho.
Don't answer questions about your cuecas. Steph, what are you doing?
Guys. So, Bruno, are you done with your portal assessment?
With the what?
I am.
Assessment, bro.
Oh, I thought you said the porn assessment.
Whoa. Wrong pod, Steph. Wrong pod.
Anyway, does anybody else want to weigh in on this game?
Bigodes e nádegas é no outro podcast, pá.
So, does anybody else want to weigh in?
Bigodes e nádegas é no outro podcast, pá.
Oh my god.
I think this has derailed completely.
I'm trying to put this under control, but I can't mute you guys to shut you up.
So. Peter, também o gajo está a falar de bigodes e nádegas, o que é que tu queres?
Everybody just stop. Everybody just stop. That would be good.
Bruno, isso aconteceu até a ti?
Alright, here we go. Alright, so nobody's interested in talking about the game. Why don't we talk about, Sergio Conceição's comments after the game?
He's such a nice man, isn't he?
Which comment?
I think he's great. He's very frontal.
The Boneco comments.
But I did hear about it, and actually, he apologized today.
I know. Yeah. I wonder why. But anyway, we still got to talk about it. I mean,
porque ele é vaidoso.
He's scared of the whiplash. He remembered himself what JJ said, não qualifico o Rui Vitória como treinador, and look what happened right after that. So he was like, I better apologize before. Yeah, no.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think
you guys, like every other team, should be smart enough to not try and unite a locker room. And, he doesn't want... I think Sergio Conceição doesn't want to give, Benfica weapons to unite... Yeah, to fuel them into winning the title.
We just did.
I think so
you already did, dum-dum.
Which I think so, too.
Your apologies too late, Conceição.
No, o Sporting just did.
But you guys have been the whole time, whatever.
By playing so miserably, a gente deu balão de oxigênio ao Benfica. A nossa performance na luz foi tão vergonhosa que deu motivação ao Benfica para o resto do campeonato.
And he got a point too. Bruno, I want to start off by just saying that basically every single coach is a hypocrite, but at least Rui Vitória doesn't try and refrain from the referees. When he has to talk, he normally talks.
He doesn't refrain from the referees? Estás a mentir também.
He doesn't let me finish. Deixa-me acabar, pá.
Tu falas muito vocês dois.
But what I want to say is that at least he doesn't go like Sergio Conceição that says the referees should be protected. We shouldn't talk about them, and then 3 weeks in a row he goes ahead and raves about the referees and how no, it doesn't rave about them. He destroys them.
Tu sabes quem é a culpa?
Benfica?
Whose fault is it?
Não, a culpa é do Pilinha.
There it is.
Why are you trying to? He's trying to derail my podcast. I appreciate that.
It's the
I wish I was good at Photoshop.
I don't want to know.
It would be the sporting symbol with a little pilinha, but it'd actually be a straw. Don't go there, guys. I'm a mother. I'm not going to be putting penises on things.
All right. Anyway, I mean, for you to be a mother.
Hey! We know how it happened.
I don't know how it happened.
I'm just saying, for you to be a mother, you have to go somewhere.
Em my religion é tudo cobertor de lençóis e só tem buraco, mais nada.
to be honest, I think Mario told his dad, like, he scored. It went in the back of the net, and then he told him I was pregnant. I was like, Jesus Christ, Mario! Like,
That's great. Anyway, so
Yep.
Bruno, just to get back on point, what I want to say is that what pissed me off the most about Sergio Conceição is how he first wanted to protect the referees, but when he's getting the short end of the stick now, he's trying to trash them every single press conference. And I'm not saying that he's not wrong by pointing out their flaws. What I thought was, very, hypocrite of him was to first try and defend them, and now he's attacking them. But all of a sudden,
he gets to a certain point.
He's trying to. But how can a hypocrite talk about something?
Well, hold on a second.
But listen. Rui Costa is doing the same thing. He never said about anything about the VAR and nothing, and now bang, thank you, ma'am.
But listen, Steph, one thing is refraining from talking about it. The other thing is saying we should protect these guys, and then weeks later, you go ahead and thrash
the opposite statement.
But Rui Costa, Rui Derrota, I mean, Vitória, he said the same thing, bro.
He didn't say that the referee shouldn't be judged. He never said that. Or that they should be protected.
Peter, no.
And that's the thing that pissed me off with Sergio's comment, is that he's talking like he's on a high horse when he's actually the biggest hypocrite out of all the
anything he says, he's on a high horse.
Because he's the one that tried to protect them, and now he's trying to thrash them.
Because
we started thrashing the referee.
Because it inconvenienced him.
He's the boneco. I mean, that's just what pisses me off.
But
that's them, man. That's
Peter, have you noticed that when Rui Vitória wins, he doesn't want to talk about the officiating, but when he does not win, meaning draw or lose,
doesn't everybody
talks about the officiating?
Yeah. What's the difference?
I agree with Peter. Yeah, every coach does it.
Listen, JJ said that the VAR has been amazing. I swear to you, the one time that Sporting is going to get a bad call against them, because it's going to happen. There are like 17 more games left. He's going to trash out how the VAR didn't work. The Portuguese coaches are like that. What pisses me off about
17
was there's 17 or 16 games left, I think.
Oh, no. At 17 or at 16? Não pode ser os dois. At 16?
It's one of those, man. 16, okay. No, isn't it 17 jornadas? So
no,
17.
17, yeah.
Yeah, there's 17 left. I was right. Anyway, so what pissed me off about Sergio Conceição is that he first tried to protect them. Unlike how Rui Vitória and JJ, they never said we should protect the referees. No. Sergio Conceição said we should protect the referees, and then a couple of weeks later, he's thrashing them, but now he's calling Rui Vitória boneco because he called out the referees. That's just the most hypocritical thing he could do.
No, he's not saying because of that only. He's saying he's a boneco because basically what he's saying is
that he does all the
yes. Someone is telling him, fala agora.
Yeah.
Não, fala amanhã. Fala depois da manhã. Because a cartilha, that's what he's talking about.
I know, but it still doesn't make any sense because Rui Vitória has spoken up every time he felt that was needed. And to be honest, as a fan, he talked when I thought Benfica was also, I forgot about the word, but you know what I mean. Prejudicado. Yeah, but I can't remember it in English, so I just...
prejudicado. A gente
sounds right. It's like Arkansas all over again.
Arkansas.
I don't know, Bruno. Just why do you think that... what do you think about the statement? Because I've been rambling about it.
Listen, he you know how he is. He's very emotional guy. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, that's
he's a very emotional
understatement. He's very
nobody but nobody denies that. Nobody denies that. It's just
but I'm stating he's a very emotional guy. He says a lot of things that everyone is thinking. For example, like Trump in his campaign. When he was
Donald Trump. When
he was campaigning.
Trump, oh my God!
All right, so does that mean that all
when he was campaigning,
I don't hate him.
No. When he was campaigning, when Trump was campaigning, he was saying things that a lot of people thought. Conceição's the same thing. He's talking what most Portistas think. He's just saying what we think. That's the issue. People don't like it, but that's what we think.
Listen,
I just don't think
we all know
any type of moral, you know, I don't
Compass?
know. I forget.
Ground to talk, moral ground.
Yeah. He doesn't have any moral ground to talk about it because he's just. And I think what he said was definitely heated, in the moment. But still, is just very hypocritical because him, out of all the big three coaches, is the one that's actually being the most hypocrite out of all of them. That's just one thing. Like if he was maybe, why? Then why? Just tell me why.
Because he's talking what he sees and what we all see. Porto has been.
I'm not talking about I'm talking about everything that he said before about the referees, and then he talks about.
Okay, but he at first he defended them for a little while. But porra, também 12 penaltis que ainda não foram marcados.
Okay.
I mean, you watch TVE, you watch Correio da Manhã. They have all the statistics, and most of the referees say that we're the most prejudiced team out of the big three.
By the way,
by far, it's not even close.
But anyway, sure, but that's still hypocritical. He should have just said. He should have started off right off the bat. I'm not going to talk referees, or I'm going to talk referees whenever I feel I should talk referees. He shouldn't defend them. You shouldn't defend someone. It's not like I'm going to vouch for you, Bruno, and then you make a mistake, and I'm going to start saying, "Oh my God, Bruno is an idiot. He doesn't know how to be a referee." Or
listen, Bruno. Let me tell you something. We still have a lot to catch up. You said 12 penalties. Porto still owes us like around 500 penalties dos anos 80 e 90. So we still have a lot to catch up.
They owe everybody penalties.
Dos
I personally want like 5 penalties.
Dos anos 20 até os 80, ainda quantos é que são? 500 mil?
Eu ainda estou à espera que o Benfica ponha o locker room cheio de bagaço.
Bruno, tu nem eras pensado nessa altura. Nem eras pensado, tu estavas nos tomates com o bisavô.
But anyway,
mas estava lá.
We're digressing. Anyway, just back to the point.
The point is that, I mean, Porra, the guy's been prejudiced week after week. He has spoken about it. The difference is that no one really made a big deal about it at the time because Porto won. And then it was the whole Cartilha thing. They're gonna start going down in form. The roster's too short. They don't have enough good players. Blah blah blah. They're gonna start slipping. Well, guess what? They haven't started slipping, and he keeps on talking more and more. He keeps on talking more and more, and then he's getting more aggressive in his press conferences, and he's calling people out by their name.
Has he never been a coach before?
Yeah,
that's the point of the coach. You take the damn criticism.
No, but what do you mean? What criticism is he taking? I'm not understanding.
You're saying he's reacting to all the criticism he's taking. That's what coaches do. You sit there and you get criticized.
No, but he's taking but the criticism is not by the style of play; it's by his actions, of how he is. They criticize him by how he is. But you know what? There's a lot of people that actually appreciate it. Because I was watching you playoff, and actually all four guys all said it. They all said that they really liked the fact that the way he is, and he called Rui Vitória the way he called Rui Vitória a boneco. He called him a boneco because that's what he is.
But it's not true, Donda. That's not what he is.
We all know it.
Well, Benfiquistas don't like that.
Well, that's Benfiquista's problem.
If you want a boneco is exactly what Sérgio Conceição was. Because he spoke up, he said, o Rui Vitória boneco. And then the next press conference, I'm very sorry for what I said. I shouldn't have said it. I didn't mean to offend anyone. Fuck him.
Trump doesn't apologize. I want to say he's like Trump doesn't apologize.
But that's right to offend
big difference right there.
He offended him.
That's the new trend lately. The new trend is to insult and apologize later. That's a new trend.
No, and then even say that.
That's why I don't believe in those apologies. When you say something, you have the intention to say. When you apologize later, bullshit.
Steph.
My mom taught me don't say shit when you're angry because you're going to say stupid things people might not mean.
No, but even it can come out. But what did I say last week? When I was talking and I said, I really went to the room. That was like 5 minutes later after I ended the podcast that I realized that I went a bit too far. So it took Sergio Conceição like 3 days. He couldn't have come out to the public with a tweet or something and said, "I apologize for my actions."
You know his son. You know his son. O filho dele, o Rodrigo, joga nos Júniors do Benfica. You know that.
That's awkward.
Yeah, maybe
he has a son. He has 3 sons, and all 3 of them play in the big 3. One at Porto, one at Sporting, one at Benfica.
Okay, so Rodrigo, I'm pretty sure that when he got home, his spouse must have said, "Oh, burro do caralho, dos teus filhos joga no Benfica e agora?"
That's every other day, buddy. That's every other day, Steph.
Agora desalaram hit on Rodrigo. Rodrigo agora tem que aturar as tuas estupidezes. And I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons he went back the same day and he apologized, because playing at Benfica, Rodrigo, I mean, it's tough. His father is the coach of Porto.
And you just don't want. And this is just Bruno. You can yeah, exactly. It's unnecessary. Like Bruno, you can try and say that he thought that he said what everybody's thinking. No, first of all, that's for the pundits to try and speak, because coaches are smarter than that. Like you saw with the little bit of the fire that when JJ said that he didn't qualify Rui Vitória as a manager, and if you don't think that fired up Benfica, then you're totally wrong.
Take a look at our 4 in a row, sweetheart. If you don't think that fired them up.
Coaches need to think what they say, and people can talk about how Rui Vitória is this and that, but at least the man tries to stay as most civil as he can, and that's what we need in our football.
He's classy. We had JJ for years. He did a troll dance. He insulted Tim Sherwood. Come on, man.
To be honest, Sherwood is a little bit of a dick. Same as Conte.
I understand that, but aren't we taught in the Igreja? You go to Igreja, you turn the other cheek. That wasn't the other cheek. You did the hands in his face, and then you'd go, Luizão is number 3. With a stupid-ass smile on your face. You know what number Luizão is. Come on.
Yeah, but...
Make Portuguese look bad. Don't be doing that shit.
I hate to say it, but it's going to happen again.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen.
Surprise.
It's happen. But guess what? The guy that doesn't talk about it is the one who's going to be called the boneco, just because he doesn't want to get into what Portuguese football is about. Because he wants to be different.
He's not, though. I have to disagree with it that you calling him a boneco, because let me tell you something. He already came out in the public. He came out in the public and he didn't agree with what the director of communications for Porto. And he talked about that in the press conference. Again, Red Press covered that up real quick, but they didn't see eye to eye on some things. They didn't see eye to eye on some things, and he called it out, and he said it, and he said it in this press conference. He reminded everybody.
I know. I'm just saying that it feels like either what Steph was saying, damage control, or that he was forced to say that. One of them's the case.
I don't think he's forced to say it. I think he just says things in impulse, and then they come out some ways. And then he thought about it, and he's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
I just think that when you say something that you don't mean, like I did on the podcast, you think about it 5 minutes later, and you go ahead and say it. You don't go. It doesn't take.
Well, what is he going to do? He's going to walk back outside.
He's got to get RV on the phone and call him up.
Sorry, but if you want to if you want to apologize, you have social media. You have a lot of means that you can go right out and say it. Hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry about this. You don't need to wait 3 days to make it, to do the press conference to apologize.
But that's expected. That's expected.
Se o Rui Vitória também está ofendido, olha. He's got to put on a bigger pair of pants.
Ele no outro dia, ele foi comprar uma dúzia de bonecos, meu, está calado.
Actually, the new bonecos are going to be looking like JJ and Conceição. That's the new bonecos.
The people that are more offensive are the Benfica fans. They're the ones who are offended. But anyway, my point is that...
Well, what do you mean? I mean, you look at it, you look at your president. Your president doesn't even do his own interviews. And we caught that on the cartillas.
We only talking about coaches because
okay, but I mean you can't talk about.
But if we go beyond that, that's another podcast.
Right. So listen,
it feels like
Rui Vitória may be a lot of things, but for the past 4 to 5 years in Portuguese football, the guy has tried to stay as consistent as he can with every single statement he's made.
And classy, yeah.
He tries to stay away from drama, and that's what people don't like.
And name calling.
Yeah, and they try and rattle him.
What do I mean, name calling? Oh, boneca. You have anybody in mind? Rui Vitória.
Let me say this. Did you see what he said about those two referees at the Sporting game after the Sporting game? But he kind of forgot because he's hypocritical. He kind of forgot that who the VAR was for the Portugal game that helped him out.
Okay, but Bruno, the point is he didn't insult anybody. That's the point he's trying to make. Ninguém chamou boneca ninguém. That's when you're a coach of the big threes, you have to watch what you say as far as your counterpart.
Yeah, and Steph can agree with me when the Bruno Carvalho mentioned about the Tondela game a couple of years back, where he said that if he kicked the referee in the ass, he would have liked it. I don't think Steph saw himself on those remarks too.
I mean, it's stuff that we say. We're not expecting that from Jorge Jesus or Bruno Carvalho, Luís Vieira, or Vitória.
They are the face of the club. Higher standard, right?
Pinto Costa. Finally, Pinto Costa has a girlfriend of his age. And anyway.
Olha tu todo ciumento, olha tu.
Ciumento. Ele quase que morreu de coração. Toma tanta piada, está calado.
I was going to say, he always looks like he's having a heart attack up in the stands.
Ele tinha uma brasileira de 20 e tal anos. Podia ser
would cause the heart attack.
Dor de cotovelo.
Eu já devia ter morrido há bastante tempo.
Guys, so we need to wrap it up. So I don't know how we want to settle this before we go off the air. To be honest, like, are we gonna?
We have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, we have to agree to disagree because I strongly.
Bruno, real quick, do you think?
Because Bruno's going to send out Valentine cards with that on it. You're a doll.
This is just going to be a yes or no.
When you say because you're a doll.
When you say to a female, it sounds good though.
Yeah.
Until they know like that you like soccer and that your coach is like that.
So Bruno,
that's that pickup line. There's Movneka.
That's your pickup line. That's why you don't think it's upset. Conceição wants to take RV out for a date.
Opa. Pronto. Guys, Bruno, real quick, yes or no question. Do you think that Sérgio Conceição tried to offend Rui Vitória?
No, I don't think so. I think it just came out that way, but I don't think he tried to.
Does anybody else agree with Bruno?
Hold on a second. Let me explain. I think what he was trying to say. Hold on a second. What he was trying to say was.
Speak his mind.
Isso vai durar até amanhã. Go.
Oh, it's just going to be.
Hold on. What he's trying to say is he's trying to prove a point that at Benfica, the guys that come out in publicly to talk are not really them talking. It's someone behind them that's telling them what to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's trying to say.
Like the club you work for?
All right.
This doesn't make sense.
No,
it is what it is.
What Bruno is trying to say is, Peter, tem calma, caralho. Vai tomar calmante.
I know, or maybe a little laughter.
I'm
maybe
just looking at the timer.
Ou leite com mel, ou coisa assim, ou com pontos.
Shouldn't I be the one controlling the time? I'm just saying, bro.
All I'm saying is, Cynthia, o que o Bruno está a tentar dizer, não, Bruno, the majority of the other fans are saying is, Benfica commentators, Benfica coaches, and Benfica staff, they basically are told what to say by the upper management. They're not freely saying what they think. They've been saying word by word.
But isn't that what happens when you're in a job?
No, not necessarily. I speak my mind at my job, see if I don't like something.
Okay, but then when you go to a press conference, you're allowed to speak your mind? Or people who have tweets on Twitter that belong to a certain thing. Tweets are my own.
No,
I don't share the views of the company. No way.
You have to be cautious what you say on Twitter, yes, but when you commentate on trio de ataque ou assim, por que tens que aderir a palavra por palavra aquilo que o Benfica diz ao Sporting ou ao Porto?
Because there's 10 million emails that you guys are going through.
People, we're missing the point. Steph, when they asked Sérgio Conceição if there was a target in mind, he said Rui Vitória. If he didn't want to offend Rui Vitória, he would have said Benfica.
Yeah, there you go.
Because what you're trying to do...
Thank you.
Listen, Bruno. What Portistas are trying to do, they're trying to spin it, so it's the whole of Benfica, so it's Luís Vieira, so it's Rui Vitória, and all the commentators. No, he addressed Rui Vitória directly.
Okay.
If he wanted to address everybody else, he would have said Benfica, the organization of Benfica, not Rui Vitória.
Agreed.
I disagree.
But now to wrap this up on my end, because it's not even my clubs involved,
Not yet.
Sergio Conceição was totally wrong, but at this point in time, he deserves the benefit of the doubt since it's his first time. If he does it again, agora esquece. Não vale merda nenhuma. But now let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Ou Vlad, o quê? Queres que eu fale? Fala então, ó Pilinha, fala.
Não, Pilão. Ô, Vlad.
You see what you started, Cynthia.
It's a great nickname for Bruno.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Ana Pilinha
When Cableira was on Benfica, if you listen to if you guys recall, André Villas-Boas, when he was on Porto in that year, 2010, 2011, he said it. He said the press conferences of Cableira are monologues because he already knows what the questions are going to be.
JJ's press conferences were monologues, then we're fucked. Jesus.
but it's because he's told what to say at the club.
The dude said the stupidest shit ever. How did he speak what the club said? Are you serious? You're out of your mind.
I've told you many times, and like every podcast, I say Bruno's delusional. Why is no one listening to me?
No, because
I'm not delusional. This is exactly what happened.
Bullshit. So much disgusting.
He said Luis was number 3 for goodness sake. Come on.
He said too much bullshit for it to be controlled by Benfica. If that's how Benfica controlled the press conferences, Jesus Christ, we were totally wrong, because he went out of the hand fast several times. And as much as we want to try and spin it, JJ is its own personality. He has its own ego. He wouldn't allow himself to be controlled by Benfica and be told what to say.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree because if you listen...
We're just going to have to agree to disagree, man, because I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
It's not.
We agree to disagree.
Okay, got Malta. Kumbaya, my friends. Kumbaya. Move on.
Oh, my God.
That's it. That's it. I don't have anything else unless you guys want to say anything. I mean, I don't know who Porto plays. I don't know if Sporting plays.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's going to play. So let's go for Palpites. Palpites, the game of Porto is away in Estoril. Cynthia.
Yes?
Estoril Porto, what's your Palpites?
I'm going to vote for Estoril, obviously, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
1-0, 2-0, 3-0.
Where are they playing?
Estoril.
Estoril.
You know what? Maybe there'll be some penalties that weren't called for Porto because I know Bruno loves those. And somehow Estoril gets like 2-0. Yeah.
Okay, so Flip.
Ooh, 1-0 Porto, I think, is my prediction. Though I don't want that to happen.
Gotcha. Bruno.
I think it's going to be a tight game, but since Philippe took my score of 1-0, I'm going to say 1-2 Porto.
Well, dude stole my scoreline.
You guys can have the same scoreline. I don't understand why this is no, we can't.
Mine's 2-1 for Porto too.
2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 for Estoril.
All right, hope you're right.
Yeah.
Let's hope. If they slip up, next week's episode is going to be they finally slipped up.
Oh yeah! Exclamation points! I'm gonna put like 5 of them.
Steph's been picking against Porto the last 3 weeks.
Well, eventually he'll be right, huh?
Exactly. Like a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Unless it's on like the military hours.
I'm going to fly to Estoril. I'm going to be the cook of football com Porto, vão ficar todos com diarreia. Next game.
Are you going to be the VAR? Be the VAR.
Next game, Braga Benfica. Go with that one.
Oh, that's Benficas do Norte contra os Benfica de 1903. Agora, o meu sogro que me disse que o Benfica foi fundado em 1903. Anyway.
Hey, apparently.
Ele anda de bicicleta, que está lá no emblema de Benfica, um pneu. I would say easy 3-0 Benfica, because os Benficas do Norte, o testa de ferro is going to open his legs.
Ui, a testa de ferro.
Este é mais que vendido que a prima dele.
Bruno, what do you think?
I wouldn't say 3-0, but I'll say 2-0. Oh, because we saw the meeting that they had this week. Lá com o Orelhas and como é que é? O Testa de Ferro.
O Testa de Ferro,
Wasn't that because of Salvador?
Não é nada Salvador, homem. O afundador.
Wasn't that because of André Horta? Anyway, besides the point.
Não sei
so what do you say, bro?
Horta, Ricardo Horta, I don't know, mas...
Ele deu-lhe voucher para pagar o jantar.
Bruno, what do you
think?
Oh
my God, just give your scoreline. Why is this happening, Bruno?
I know,
I said it, 2-0.
Okay,
no,
2-0.
But then you
okay,
said but.
Jesus.
Felipe?
Sorry, Felipe.
1-0 Benfica. I think
it's
gonna be
Oh gosh, I don't want to agree with Bruno, but I think 2-0 for Benfica, obviously.
Yeah, okay. We're all on the same page. I think 2-0 Benfica 2 or maybe 2-1.
Ew, no. Doesn't it feel icky to agree with Bruno? Ick.
No, it doesn't. It happens. It happens. Anyway, 2-0 for Benfica. Sporting's next game, Steph. Who is it against?
Sporting contra o Desportivo de Aves no estado de Alvalade.
Oh, unfortunately.
And they're going to be mad after this game.
No, they won.
We won 2-1 against Cova da Piedade.
No, Aves.
Sorry, I meant Aves. They won.
Aves won.
Aves won. So you know what?
Well, they'll be happy after or drunk. Now they're hungover.
All right, Steph. I don't know. You go.
So Sporting will win 4-0 hat-trick de Bas Dost and 1 goal de cabeça de Rui Patrício de canto.
Okay, well, I go 1-1.
Olha, outro sonhador.
Cynthia.
O Vasta Gama.
I'm going to go with a 1-0 for Aves, but it's going to be frango because Rui Patricio is due, no?
Hopefully. Bleep.
Até agora o Rui Patrício ainda não marrou contra poste.
Hey.
Oh, bro, that guy got concussed because of that. That's not cool, bro.
Yeah, don't make fun of a poor guy.
Mas no outro dia o empregado do Benfica teve que limpar aquela merda e pintar outra vez. Era o trabalho.
It was actually in Duval, so you fucked up. Anyway, Felipe.
I'm going to know Sporting, but I have a little of hope that Aves will get a last-minute equalizer and it will be like 1-0.
Mas...
Alright. So,
vocês andaram a beber vinho tinto ou que hoje?
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, if Aves goes from 3-1 down to being 4-3 up against Rio Ave, Rio Ave is not just any team.
2 minutes as well.
You know.
That's why I said they might be a little hungover.
Yeah, listen.
No, they're not going to be hungover.
Those scores happen once in a while. You think that Benfica deserved to lose against Rio Ave 3-2 na Taça Portugal?
No,
I'm not Benfiquista, and I don't think so.
No, but I'm just saying, man, they gotta be, flying high. So if
Pumped up.
So we'll see. Bruno, what do you think?
I'm not on the bandwagon. I think it's going to be 3-1 Sporting.
All right.
I don't believe in Aves.
That's it then. We'll see who's right next week. I want to thank Felipe for coming on again. It was really nice having you.
My pleasure.
I want to thank Steph and Bruno and Cynthia, obviously, for joining me.
You're welcome.
We're all going to be here next week with a lot more of bullshit talk, with a lot of more Bruno opinions.
Bilingual.
We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen next week. Maybe
there's no palhaços here. I don't know.
Anyway.
Hey, just really fast. O Caldas da Rainha, they are in the semifinals of Portugal.
I said that, bro, in the beginning.
Oh, you did? And then o Porto joga amanhã com o Moreirense.
Yeah, you missed out.
If you showed up on time, you would have.
I hope they lose tomorrow, o Porto.
Anyway, guys, we'll be back next week with episode number 81. We'll see how the task is shaping up and how the campeonat's going to be. Until then, see you guys.
I'm going to end it differently today, okay? Viva o Pilha.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Viva o Pilha.
Viva o